All right, we got a little bit of work done on the trash truck today, the trash truck build, I guess I should say. So, 2008, 2009 Ford F550 frame, 6.4 powerstroke. Went through, we did head gaskets, valve job, got all it done. Single turbo. What else? Wrapped the up pipes. Got all the conversion kit done. Wrapped the down pipe. And then, so got all that work that's hard to do with cab on. And got all the exhaust built, which was pieced together, but my old muffler off the f350 that I had, dumped it right there. So should be a good spot for it. We got the, crankcase ventilation CCV delete, which I had before, but I was having issues because the motor made shit tons of blow-by. The motor is probably still going to make blow-by. I'm not sure. It had valve train issues. I'm not sure if some of that was cylinder issues. I used a 2-wire hydraulic hose, routed that in a frame, and we did this before. Obviously, the truck wasn't as long, but we went all the way down to here just with a pipe, and that pipe goes down into the exhaust. The muffler seemed to cause some back pressure, even though it's a blow-through muffler or whatever they call those, a flow-through muffler. So we moved it back, and that actually did seem to evacuate the crankcase. I got a video on that on my channel of me messing with that. So I'll just have to hook this up to there, probably do another JIC fitting. I'll just weld a JIC fitting onto this or something. But this is all behind the cab, so we're just dealing with stuff under the cab. So had to replace the transfer case adapter because the other one was cracked. So motor's out of one thing, transmission's out of another, transfer case is out of another, frame's off one thing. We got the suspension and frame where we want it. So suspension is about as good as we can get it where it wants to land. And then so as far back as we can get it. And then the frame is cut right up to it to try to make this truck as short as possible with the bed that I got on it. And then we had to move the fuel tank. So we had a rear mount fuel tank. So we had to put a fuel tank up here. I have no idea the capacity of this thing. And then for now, we just put the filler right there. We'll have to deal with all that afterwards. And then I've got to plumb in the fuel lines. So we cut them all the way. We cut the steel ones over to here. And I'll probably just adapt fuel line with JICs on each end. I got to figure that out. This is one I was experimenting with, but I don't like that. So those slide over, and then you can make these Fragola hoses, which if I can crimp Fragolas like that, I would. But crimp machine's crazy expensive. Repainted the back side of the frame with a semi-truck epoxy paint. And I got the rims and tires off my 13 F550, which we'll deal with those later. The plan was just to make it a rolling chassis. BD exhaust manifolds. The old ones were kind of crappy shape. I didn't plan on it early enough, but I should have just went and got ARP studs for all the exhaust stuff. But with those manifolds, it should be fine. This is how we ended up doing the fuel cooler. I looked into fast and deleting this and our fast systems. But anyways, that's what we ended up doing with that. Still have to clean out the fuel system, but if I had the time and money, since for some reason Ford didn't do it, the fuel pump and this fuel filter goes right there and it's by the hydraulic pump and all that stuff. I would like to move a fast system and put it right here, and then just run nice fuel lines both directions. I don't have the $1,000 or $1,100 to spend, so maybe in the future. And then today I redid the PTO system. So they had a freaking jumbled mess here. So I built this bracket, tapped the ear on the transmission, put a bolt in it, bolted this to that, and then I ran the lines because they had this thing just a mess with hydraulic lines. So I ran my lines. I've got 2 lines back here, and I've got this line here and this line here. So 4 lines total. I put asphalt wrapping over it, and then I put that just in case. You can see the exhaust got hot, but it shouldn't be making as much heat as it was from the factory. I think because from the factory, there was this other stupid part here. I can't remember what it was, but you know what I mean. So I just got these capped off for now. That PTO is kind of close, but hopefully we can get a hose in there, which they had to have do it at some point. So we've got one that's pressure and one that's return. Those will eventually end up working their way over to the hydraulic system on the bed. And then we've got the shaft here that's going to run right down through here. So hopefully give us just barely enough room. We got to figure out how to do this out of the way of the shifter, out of the way of the transfer case linkage, out of the way of the drive line. So I got to figure that out still. I imagine, and we've got the exhaust to contend with on the other side. So the cabin's right here. Hydraulic lines are going to come up through here. So yeah, still got to figure that out. The ideal situation, I don't know, might be coming up over to here and running up here above the drive line, because the drive line should go below that. So maybe some 45s or 90s right here. Problem for a different day. Still have my sensors I gotta go get. That smedding kit is pretty sweet. Pretty easy to work on once it's in the cab. Yeah. That's about it. All cleaned up. So I'm going to put the cab on this thing. And then I'm going to put a fifth wheel on, or not a fifth wheel, a gooseneck. And then I'm going to drive to Texas with it to go get my trash cans. That'll give it a good test run. Break everything in, make sure everything's good. We still got to check axles, brakes, tires, get all that dialed in, and start using this bad boy. So this is my eventual goal. I want to build, well, not the 6.4, but I want to build f550s, these chassis. I've got several of them, like, 5 of them now? And I don't mind this transmission. It's one of my favorite transmissions, 5R 140 or whatever they are. I don't mind that transfer case. I love all the frame and suspension and all these things. So maybe come and swap them and start building F550s with Cummins. Just have some big, bad, beefy trucks. Also, I'm not sure that I'd use the fuel tank right here in the future. I think this is 22 gallons. That might kill me. I have no idea. We'll find out. The next idea is to build my own fuel tank and put it inside the trash bed. Same place as the hydraulic tank is at. No idea if that's a good idea. I've got all my brake lights and all my lights, which on the trash bed connects right here. So we pulled everything back to here. I'll put all of these in a Deutsch connector that connects to the bed. So just a real nice little screw-on, click-on connector. And no wiring back here underneath the trash or anything like that. I guess what's in the box. So I'll have to figure out how all that's ran. Anyways, there is my update I will have another one here shortly of us driving this thing.